All right, so today I'm going to give my interpretation of the X-Files movie from 1998. I have a new theory about what this movie means. Well, the first scene in the movie takes place in 35,000 BC in a land of ice and snow. So it represents the barrier between our world and the alien world. Whatever is outside of our terrarium, whatever entities exist, we meet with them at the ice barrier. And the first thing we see are footprints. And many movies actually start out with footprints. It's a big footprint, an important footprint from a long, long time ago. It represents the primordial sample, a genetic copy. And of course, cavemen fall down into a cave, which represents the abyss, and they meet an alien. And he gets infected with the black goo, of course. Then they switch to the modern day, and there's a boy who falls into this abyss, and he also gets infected with the alien parasite. So this opening so far is very similar to The Thing, and there's an alien under the ice that basically infects people, and people become a host. All right, sound familiar? How many dozens of movies are about aliens or demons inhabiting people's bodies, and our bodies simply become a host for the alien parasite, aka virus? And then, of course, you got the government coming in with the hazmat suits. And then they go to this Oklahoma bombing type of scene. The building explodes. Then the very next scene, cut to 9/11. And this was made in 1998. Okay, now we get into some of the deeper esoteric meaning. A lot of these movies are about the Adam Kadmon story, the original androgynous Adam, that they have in Judaism and the Kabbalah. In the ancient world, they believed that human beings were created androgynous, which means both male and female in one body. Mulder and Scully, a man and a woman, at least the characters are male and female. They represent the male and female parts of Adam Kadmon, the original cosmic androgyne. And look at right here, close to the beginning of the movie, they have divided us. They're splitting us up. That means that Adam has been separated into two different people, one male, one female. And according to the ancient belief systems, that's the fall of man. And they need to find a solution. That's what this movie's about. His sister was abducted by aliens. That also could be another reference to the female half of this character was removed from him. So he's trying to find his female half. And then he goes to the bathroom, but the men's room is out of order. And so he goes into the female bathroom. And here they have a host who's being assimilated by the alien parasite. And this is just like in The Thing. The alien takes on a human appearance. And you see this a lot. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, etc. They seem to be telling us a story about ancient life forms that can take on a human resemblance. So these guys here kind of represent the secret societies who work with the aliens, actually helping the aliens to colonize Earth. So in this movie, the aliens use the government to do their dirty work. And so they talk a lot about FEMA, national emergencies, martial law, viral outbreaks, a plague to end all plagues, the systematic release of an indiscriminate organism for which there is no cure. Now, I think if they do another pestilence narrative, they will say it escaped from a lab on day one, because that would work. That would scare people. They've been working on this for 50 years. A new extraterrestrial biological entity. We'll continue to use them as they do us, if only to get more time to work on our vaccine. And there's a lot of syringes in this movie. And then Scully gets stung by a bee that is carrying a virus. And these coordinates are for Antarctica. So Mulder has to go to Antarctica to administer the vaccine to Scully, who's been taken to Antarctica, which represents the abyss. The virus is extraterrestrial. So terrestrial, that's the terrarium where we live, and it's from outside the terrarium. The bacteria, the alien parasite, the primordial strain was the original inhabitant of Earth. This is represented by Antarctica, the ice, the land under the ice, on the other side of the ice, right? The other side of the ice wall, the ice dome. And this is the Adam Cadmon. It's the original inhabitant of Earth, which in this show is a virus or extraterrestrial parasite found in fecal matter of the hybrids, the original androgyne. Adam stands for the primitive human race, the primordial sample, the compound name of Jehovah or Yahovah, meaning male life and female life, first androgynous, then separated into sexes, and that's the fall of man. And this virus is now going to inhabit human beings and use us as a host. This virus walked the planet long before the dinosaurs. This is the primordial strain. Your aliens arrived here millions of years ago, the original inhabitants of Earth, in the form of an evolved pathogen, waiting to be reconstituted by the alien race when it comes to colonize the planet, using us as hosts. The CDC and the WHO wanted to sample the virus. They want to sample a primordial sample, perhaps, from the victims to create a vaccine. So they're going to make a vaccine from the primordial sample. It was my belief that we needed to find the primordial strain, exactly the same as the X-Files and Godzilla and Jurassic Park. Here in the Arctic, well, sometimes like in the X-Files or The Thing, they go to Antarctica, but it's basically the same thing. It's the ice dome, the ice barrier between the realm. Against this, we have no defense, nothing but a weak vaccine. So again, in this show, the vaccine is the solution. So the alien virus would make us a slave race. My group has been working with the alien colonists. Okay, so that's the government and the secret societies. That's what they're doing. They're telling you right here what they're doing. Facilitating programs to give us access to the virus. Kind of like a lab, kind of like a gain of function narrative. So they gain access to the virus to make a vaccine, but then it goes out of control. With no vaccine, the only true survivors of the viral holocaust will be those immune to it. Human alien clones, genetic hybrid. Well, there you go right there. There's the gene Hackman going to replace humanity. The next scene, Mulder goes to Antarctica, as one does. Not sure if he saw the 24-hour sun there or not. He falls into the abyss, as one does. He broke on through to the other side of the ice wall. He comes across the aliens in the abyss, just like James Cameron, and they're making the hybrids. And Scully, of course, is there becoming a hybrid. Mulder's going to give her the vaccine. The vaccine is the solution to all our problems. Just get one jab, 2 jabs, and a booster, and you can buy or sell in the vaccinated economy. So he goes into the abyss and gives Scully the vaccine. And you see this scene right here. This is the androgyny pose, all right? This is a man and a woman combined into one body. This is when I realized this movie was all about androgyny. And in fact, there's a line where he says, "You make me whole." Well, there they are. They're whole. They're one. The two into one, two things at once. All right, that's what the whole movie's about. Adam Cadmon is back. And the same pose can be found in the medieval paintings associated with alchemy. And in fact, even the Smashing Pumpkins used this image on their album cover. It's basically the rebus. This is like a religious movie. They're one on the ice wall. They're one on the ice dome. These ice walls in these movies basically represent heaven. And the very last scene of the movie says the X-Files are reopened. That means that Mulder and Scully have reunited. They're getting the band back together. Adam Cadmon is back. The X is the androgynous symbol. The primordial sample has been found, and it has been administered into the human beings. All right, so that's my interpretation of the X-Files. And keep in mind, this is in context of seeing basically the same exact esoteric symbolism in dozens of other movies. So this is not a one-off, and they use the same exact symbols and the same words and a lot of the same stories, basically. All these movies are talking about the primordial sample. And I showed you the references in Blavatsky, his book written over 100 years ago, talking about the primordial sample. Now, in some of these movies, they use the word specimen or the original biological life force or something like that, but it's all the same stuff. And what they're telling us is that they found it in the ice wall between the realm of heaven and earth. That's where they found the DNA sample, which is represented by the footprint, because it's a DNA copy, and they're making clones, hybrids, androgynes. And cloning is a type of asexual reproduction. Making copies, again, the copies, right? The prints, printing off copies of human beings. And this is a key text right here from Blavatsky's The Secret Doctrine. Primordial archetypal man, Adam Cadmon. As we know, Adam Cadmon is the androgyne. Now, in this book, the word primordial and the word androgyne are used dozens of times, possibly hundreds of times. It's the main theme of the book. And I think what this book is all about is that once upon a time, there was an androgynous human being who was also kind of like a god, a divine androgyne called Adam Cadmon. They split into two. The sexes were divided, and someday in the future, they will be reunited again back into the one androgynous human being. That's what the secret doctrine is all about. That's what the secret societies are all about. And I believe that's what this movie, The X-Files, is all about. And many of these other movies I've been looking at. They're all telling the same story. They have their creation story, and they have their eschatology. And it's different than ours. But yet, this story actually permeates our culture esoterically. It is indeed the secret doctrine hidden in plain sight. They were being divided. That was the problem. And at the end of the movie, they were united.